Yeah, a lot of stuff happened last week. Um, who wants to recap, or
And no
should we give
offense to
Em that
M,
job?
but I can't read those notes.
They can be a bit hard.
I've stopped talking now. Please, someone explain.
Yeah, I think we're about ready to begin the session. Um, I'd like to hear someone's opinion on what happened last week. And if no one talks, I will select one at random.
Could you do it?
I prefer to let the players do it because then I get an idea of like how they're experiencing the game. Because if I just like dictate what happened, I don't always know if there's a discrepancy between the game that I'm running, like the information that I'm communicating, and what the players are actually thinking and dealing with.
That's fair, but seeing as we are talking about what happened in a very specific episode of the game, if you dictate it and somebody goes, no, that's not right, then you have clear evidence of discrepancies.
Fair. Um, but for
I
now, I
could
want to hear.
try, but it's not going to be that good.
Well, you won't know until we try.
Okay, so we have like this little thing where we're sitting around and Ollie has just finished projectile vomiting and we're trying to figure out what we're going to do with our time, how we're going to, and we can't come to a consensus for a while, but then we decide because of Kesu that we're going to stop the Black Lung by going into the mine. So we start heading towards that area. Kesu like grabs the guy and is like, you, hello, hi. He doesn't say hi. He was kind of rude about it. He's like, you, hello, what's going on? What's wrong? And the guy was like kind of a zombie in a way. He was like, oh, yeah. And then Kesu was like, okay. And then he like lifts up his shirt and is like, oh man, you're sick. And he grabs him and takes him to like a place and it's like a shop that has steam. And he's like, inhale this. And then he tells Arazid and Ollie to get Webley and some honey because if Webley's sick, then he also needs to inhale some steam. And we also need to get some honey. So we go there, and Webley is like, "Hi guys, yeah, you can get some honey. That's cool." But he's also like hiding something. He's being really cagey. And then his BF Brightsteel comes out, and he says that they don't really trust doctors, but they went to an apothecary, and they saw Kesu at one point, and yeah, they think that the other person whose name I forget is doing her best, but she's not really doing enough. Um, So Keisha comes in because we're taking like literally forever. We're taking a long time, and it's like, what are you guys doing? You guys aren't doing anything. What are you doing? And then he takes Webley to the back and makes him inhale steam, and makes him cough up the stuff, and the stuff starts like moving around. And so we keep the stuff in like a jar, and it like yeah, it's gross. And then we leave. And then we go to the mines for the case who like punches out a guard, and then we kill like a bunch of other guards. And then we see like the guard that was outside of the Dagmar Manor, George, and it's hard for him to speak. And he's like, "Kill me!" And then Casey kills him because he asked for it. And then we fight, and then we go in further, and we kill the little thing. We kill the little bug thing. Not the bug, like like the bug isn't like the sickness. We kill like the sickness thing, and then like Casey, I think he like I'm not really sure. I think he like gets the sickness from Georgia still, and lets that like be the thing that we follow. And it was really gross and sad. And then we go in and we fight like a big tentacle thing, and that's where we are right now.
Yeah,
Bravo.
that's
So that
pretty close. Pretty much it.
so Sunny took part in murder of people that stood in sub.
I mean, Sonny didn't actually do anything, to be fair. He just kind of stood on the
Sunny is
sidelines.
okay with this.
Sunny yeah, he took a bit of a backseat role last session. He did like a lot of like cheering people on instead.
He was the cheerleader.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Um,
I noticed nobody made use of any spell slots.
I didn't give anyone control of your character last week because honestly I forgot.
I'm pretty sure you healed me at some point
Oh yeah,
after
that's
like
right.
the battle.
I healed you, or maybe I healed Webley, or Sunny did, I should say.
And he managed to do it without using any spells. Truly the power of gods are cool.
Oh yeah, he's that goddamn good. And it's definitely not because I also forgot to take off a spell slot.
That's canon now, can't change it. He can cast healing spells without using slots.
Right.
To be fair, we did level up, so I feel like that would reset.
I forgot to put it in the... Wait, no. Did I?
Yes, I hope you
No,
all
no,
remembered to be
I
leveling
remembered
up.
to put the level in. I remembered to put the level in. Thank freaking
Yep.
God.
So I finished that up last week, so we could...
Any of them.
Very nice.
One freaking episode I missed, and it's the one with the freaking tentacle monster. In a very confined space.
Oh yeah. If it makes you feel any better, it was not as much of a challenge for the party as I thought it would be. Although it was quite the body horror episode as a whole.
I noticed Ollie's on, like, as far away as possible. I'm assuming Ollie's in female form right now. I assume the two aren't related.
Oh god, because tentacles, yep.
Ay.
Make that joke at least once, and I missed it last session.
I'm glad that you were still able to. And that is
I was
now out of your
depressed.
system.
Yes.
So, Kesu begins cutting samples from the corpse. It's kind of, it's dripping this, like, viscous, like, black liquid out of its wounds now, which appears to be its blood. But it is lying still in a way that makes you feel that it is dead. Is there anything that you want to do? Attempt to help Kesu? He will be wanting to spend some time there to properly destroy and cleanse the corpse.
Honestly, I feel like at a ship principle, Solas would help.
Sonny
He-
can help
he hates
cleanse
this thing.
things.
Yes, he will appreciate the holy power of fire to cleanse.
Quite unquote.
Sonny also
Yes.
has the light cleansing.
Kesu kind of like, he brings out his little pouch, he cuts off like a bit from the tentacle, one of the barbs that was sinking into, I believe, Solas's chest.
Yeah, it's kind of stung.
He's kind of dissecting and also like mincing it at the same time. He spends a little time just kind of like piling it all kind of over here, and asks the pair of you to create some cleansing fire.
Well,
I just realised this thing
Let's
is
see.
snapping to a grid. That's fun.
I don't have spell slots, unfortunate. But that doesn't mean I can't use my innate burning hands.
Yes.
Let's see. I have burning hands. I have scorching ray, flaming spear. Flaming spear would probably be a good one. And I have the really big flaming spear that everyone's going to need to stand back for if I use that one.
Hey, Arazid, do you want to check out what's down this way?
Oh, yeah, sure. I'm not
Great.
really coming near that thing, though. I don't want to.
Yeah, let's like kind of go in a, I don't know, safe other direction, potentially.
It is the direction that you came from.
Oh, that's the direction we came from? Whoop! Oh, wow. Awkward. Okay.
This way.
This
Use the
way!
thing to start burning my way through it. Just like move here, move down, move up, move over, move down, and just iron the thing out with fire.
Literally
enough.
just ping pong a bowling ball over it.
The pair of you get to some good work, just absolutely igniting this thing. Until the air around you is just stinking of this like rotting, very fetid eldritch scent. Is like the same kind of smell that you had from like the small slugs that were being coughed up, but ramped up like 100%. Arazid,
Wait, when did people cough up slugs?
that was Kesu began to start stabbing them whenever people coughed them up. They had been previously coughing up just like globs of like blackness, and then people began coughing up more blackness, and then that blackness began to move.
Oh, that was the moving blackness they coughed up.
Yeah. It seems to be that the longer that someone is breathing this cloud in that was being produced by this creature, the more they were infected, and the kind of the worse the blackness they coughed up would become until they became incubators for slugs. Arazid and Ollie, you go down that route, but it comes to like a very small antechamber quite quickly with no other exits. There is a big deposit of a black mineral of some form against much of the walls.
Oh, Arazid. Do you think this is that, like, obsidian? I'm gonna pull out my obsidian dagger to compare the metals.
The metal of your dagger is quite a bit shinier. You touch, you kind of, as you brush your knuckles against this mineral, like a powder comes away from it. It seems to be some form of coal.
Oh. Oh, it's cool. Oh, we could write secret messages to each other with this. But then I guess it wouldn't be a secret. I really like secret messages. But okay, all right. So is this just a coal mine? Like, what's Tentacula doing over there? Like, I don't know. Why wasn't mining coal enough? Or do you think that the black stuff came from the coal? Is the black stuff coal? No, because that was what Kesu thought at first. Whatever. Anyways, there's coal back here. Let's go tell the others.
Okay, cool.
Hey guys, there's coal back there. Just coal. Boring old coal.
Cool.
I have fire.
As you turn the corner, Solas is coughing and Scott's up while burning the thing in front of him.
Nope. Alright. Okay. Let's get back behind here. Come on.
It's beginning to really stink in here now. Like there's a lot of smoke collecting on the roof of the cave. And you realise that soon Kesu's burning will make it quite hard to breathe.
Oh my god, this is just like the library all over again. They think nothing about air quality. Arazid, stay low to the ground. Oh wait, you're fine. Okay,
You're just rude to me for no reason. I don't understand.
So yeah, just mapping out the shape of a big ball of fire.
Yeah.
Sunny,
Nice.
crawl like your four-legged ancestors. I'm gonna kind of crouch down to the ground and go for the exit because these idiots are gonna smoke us out.
The
Already
corpse.
smoked you out.
Yeah, this room is being hotboxed right now, and not in the fun way.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, in the warm way.
But you do manage to destroy the corpse. Anything else you want to do? Anything you guys want to look at in here?
Um, I. Hmm.
Is there sun in here? No? I'm happy to leave.
So I just want to ask:
Mhm.
is the smoke sort of settling more on one side, or is it just spreading throughout the entire room?
It is acting much like normal smoke does, as opposed to the smog that this thing was producing intentionally. It's gathering just at the top, mostly around this, small section of the room,
Okay.
and is kind of just fanning out as one would expect smoke to do. It fills the container it's in.
Okay. In that case, kind of getting away from the source, kind of pushing its way through here a bit. I'm gonna double check the room that these two came out of.
Mhm.
Just to see if there's anything else in particular.
Okay.
Ares gonna follow.
Yeah, don't go alone. Don't go alone.
We're
Don't
wanting
mess
to
up
have
light.
like a nice big deep look around here, I assume.
Yeah.
Sonny's been alone in his head for a week. He wants to be with people.
Roll an investigation, please, Solas.
Alright. Find it again. There it is. Nice.
Tucked away in the corner, you find an iron pickaxe with dark liquid dried on one spike.
Would I be able
This
to match
seems
this to
totally
anything?
not suspicious.
You could give it a go. That would be a medicine check.
Oh no. Okay.
Something that's Kesu would come and assist you with.
Okay.
So you can roll that with advantage.
Well.
You presume it's blood.
Okay.
As a miner, would Arazid be able to determine if this is normal coal or a possible byproduct or side effect of that thing?
That would also be a medicine check.
Wow.
Very consistent. You think that it looks like normal kind of dried blood colour. It's like it's.
I meant the coal on the wall.
Ah,
With the
my
coal.
bad. Then that will not be a medicine check. That would be a nature check.
Ooh.
You really struggle to think back. It feels like it's been like a whole nother lifetime ago since you were last in a mining operation having a look at caves, minerals, and whatnot. You feel that this is fairly normal coal. It doesn't seem to be like seeping out more black slugs, which you're just like, nice.
Okay, cool.
Anyone else
well-
want to have a look?
I want to do a thing, but I can't think of a thing to do because everyone's already done the things. I don't think I can help with the things, despite having a very high medicine.
You can attempt
dunno.
to do more of the same and see if you get different results.
Yeah. Let's see if I can roll an 11. What do I need for an 11 here? This might be tricky. Damn! Too high.
Yeah, you take the pickaxe from Solas and you're just like, yes, I have wounded many people before, but never with a pickaxe. This definitely looks like blood. Dried, but blood.
This dried blood looks like dried blood. I think it might be dried blood. I was so close to an 11 as well.
Yeah, it was pretty close, especially for your high mod. Which, damn,
Thank you.
you're almost like rivaling Kesu there. He's got like a 9, I think. No, that is his whole character.
I think it's actually 10. Yeah.
Oof, even better.
What
So
does
if
he?
you can still roll an 11, but
Nah, one. Anyway. Yeah, as you guys are in the anteroom more, you see that the ceiling does begin to fill up with this fetid corpse smoke that's being
Hey, yeah, we're
produced
leaving.
by the creature.
we are leaving.
Yeah, okay.
Keep to the walls.
Sonny feels like he only just got here, but he's already going to walk out.
Guess the rest of the party's following suits. You begin to walk out. You're following the minecart tracks back the way you came. There are quite a few of the miners that you passed along the way. They were kind of shambling forwards in this like very stiff, like almost zombie-like state, and now they are all lying on the ground. You think that they are dead until you see that one of them kind of like jerks up and starts retching. Very wetly, and it feels like a very heavy thing that he's trying to move. And there's just like a... And on the floor in front of him, a black slug drops onto the ground. But this time, it is not moving. It does appear to be like slug-like, like the other ones you've seen, but it's kind of like curled up in a death pose.
I suppose I could say something for it.
Solas is going to run over to the guy to make sure he's alright.
Yeah, Sonny's going to go over and say something holy to the slug in the form of word of radiance. Just in case.
Yeah. You snap your fingers. The thing begins to burn up rather quickly. I assume that's a sacred flame or something you're doing there.
That thing.
Ah, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely. Yeah, the thing just kind of like... It doesn't really make what feels like a living noise anymore, but as you set it on fire, it kind of shrinks and goes... And the moisture just like very quickly burns up, and it becomes this like shriveled, blackened husk. And that is what radiant damage does to that thing. Solas, you rush over, help this thing. He's just...
I imagine it's like a laser
Yeah.
from my mouth.
Yeah. It's like, bless you for being evil. Solas, you rush over to help this guy. Do you try and help him like up, or...
Yes.
He's just like, thank you. Do you have any water?
No, but I do have fire. That probably won't help though.
I don't think I need fire anymore. It feels like my whole throat is on fire.
Anyone else? Help.
Sonny knows a way to make honey.
Sounds delicious.
Okay, Craig. All right, I have some water. I'm just gonna give him my water skin.
Thank you. He
Okay.
holds it up to his throat and is just downs it. He hands it back to you about half empty. Thank you so much. Oh God.
All right. I'm gonna take it from him using as few fingers as possible. Close it the same way and put it back on my fanny pack strap and just. Okay.
Where am I?
Fairly deep in the mines. So,
Oh God. Well, thank you. It feels like you killed whatever that thing was. Produced these slugs.
we definitely killed it.
If you must excuse me, I need to get back to my family.
Yeah, do that.
You wend your way through the mine and you find several other people in similar predicaments, and I assume approach them in the same way.
They run out of
Hey,
water.
yeah, Sunny, could you do that like make water thing that you do in one of these mine carts?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really wish I had the create or destroy water spell right now.
Don't just pee in it. If you can't do it, don't just pee in it.
I guess I use this thing for the water option.
In
Where are we going to put 30 gallons?
a mine cart.
How much does a minecart hold?
Way more than 30 gallons. Way more.
You reach back to the minecart that Kesu previously found some black rocks and just annihilated them. It is the one where the body of the guard George is lying next to, now looking more peaceful.
Huh. 30 gallons is a lot less than I thought it was.
Yeah. Any
sounds
minecart that you find can hold that amount in it.
Maybe find a cleaner one, not next to dead George.
Yeah, you can walk back through. As you approach nearer and nearer the entrance, you do find a second minecart. This one is like shoved right up against the wall. It's been derailed for some reason.
Ooh.
And this one has been it's been tipped over, shoved right against the wall. But is thankfully empty of big bricks of coal.
Okay. Sunny, flip that over, and then we should check and see if there's like holes in it. If they're not using it, maybe it's because it's dropping coal all over the cart or all over the tracks.
Okay. Do I need like a strength check to pick a thing up?
Yeah, it's
Turn it over.
pretty heavy.
Is the weak one helping?
Can I assist him? Yeah.
Yeah. So you can roll that with advantage, Sonny.
Yay! Double ones.
Nice. The pair of you are just like 1, 2, 3, alley up, and you are able to kind of lift it up so quickly that it almost threatens to topple over the other way.
Wait, isn't that Ollie up?
Nice. But thankfully the wall is in the way. You have one upright minecart, which I presume is then filled with water.
Yeah.
Oh, can I investigate to see if it has holes in the bottom or sides that are gonna impede our water holding ability?
Yeah, go ahead, roll investigation.
Can I help in turn? I'm not very good at it, but you know.
Go ahead. So that's with advantage, Ollie.
Yeah. Does it matter that we
Double 20!
suck? Wait. Oh, do I need it?
You could
might
roll
get
a
it.
nat.
I did get it. I did.
Yeah, you needed it.
Yeah, you kind of stick your head into the minecart just as Sunny is kind of raising his hands to cast the spell. You're just like, wait, hang on. Stick your head in, and you can see nothing but the blackness of a mostly used minecart bottom. No holes sticking through to the other side.
Okay,
Hey,
alright.
this
Besides the
bottom doesn't
possible
have a hole in
issues
it.
involved with people ingesting coal, which they'll probably just poop out with no ill effects, right? Yeah, I think it's all good to go.
I mean, charcoal is often used as a cleanser on the face, so maybe it'll work the same for the bowels.
Oh, hopefully.
It's also used if you're poisoned.
Mmm.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
I
Hey.
think there's my local butcher sells charcoal cheddar. It's like cheddar
Like
that's
Ooh.
been like mixed with charcoal.
I think it's also used for blowing shit up with gunpowder.
Woo! Don't we love
Glowing.
coal and charcoal? Yeah, minecart filled with water. Several of the previous zombies, now survivors, have begun to kind of join you and are like staggering backwards, and they seem to be very thankful for the water.
Always nice to be helpful.
And you see, after a little bit more walking, that there is a very small amount of light coming up ahead from what you remember to be the entrance.
Okay, do you guys remember when we broke out of prison?
No.
Yeah.
What?
Sunny, you should remember this. But yeah, you weren't there, Kabor. Okay, so most of us remember when we broke out of prison, and it was like, woo, we're gonna go like home free, everybody's all working together, and then there were like all these motherfucking guards out there. So I'm kind of scared of a similar scenario, even though we like killed like 90% of the guards before we came in. That one that we left unconscious might be an issue, right?
Sunny would
So-
like to point out there's a different situation between this plan and that plan. If there's guards out there that want us to stay here in the shadows instead of going into the nice light, Sunny has way to make sure they also go into the light.
How is that different from the last time?
Sunny didn't have Fireball back then.
Oh, yeah, okay. Fair. Fair. Yeah, we are a lot stronger, faster, smarter than we were. But I didn't mind one part of the plan last time. Sacrifices. Let's get the miners to go out before us.
Some would think that won't work exactly how you think it will.
No? I mean, like, somebody is responsible for having these guys down here, right?
Yes, and I have a distinct feeling it's one of the most powerful people in the town.
But we're like right. I don't know. We're in the hot zone right now, right? Like we just killed their thing, like their creepy pet that's making everybody into like tar zombies, right? So if they know that we did that, they're probably going to be really mad, and they're probably going to be coming here to kill us. I'm just saying.
Definitely.
Oh, definitely. Okay. So we're on the same page. People are likely going to come and try to mess us up. And oh, actually, speaking of that, Ollie's going to turn into General Shay. I'm fitted for the dress in this look, so I don't want to not get invited to the wedding. Okay. So yeah, I'm just saying if we send out the miners first, get a little feel on what the situation is like out there, and then we can see if we want to go outside. That's it. That's all I'm about. Good plan, right, Arazid?
Yeah, I actually do think that's a pretty good plan. I don't want to die. We save these people's lives. I think.
Yeah.
Okay, what is the plan? You send out miners first. They drink their fill of water. There are about like 10 of them. It seems that some that were at the entrance have already left. You kind of stop about 30 feet away from the entrance. And some of them are like, yeah, understandable. Okay, we will help you however we can. And they begin to stumble out. And you don't hear much going on afterwards.
All right, sounds good to me. Sunny, how about you go first? And then if they start shooting arrows, just turn around.
So
your shell will
send the
protect you.
stealthy one first.
Who's the Arazid? No, we can't risk Arazid.
Thanks for your concern.
If they shoot you, just change to look like someone that hasn't been shot. They'd never tell the difference.
It doesn't exactly work like that, and I think you know that.
You sneak out and they not see you, and then you tell us what you see while they not see you.
How about you sneak out and then we see what happens because you're basically indestructible.
No.
Yes.
Can I just pick Ollie up and sneak her outside?
You wanna pick me up, a giant turtle, and somehow sneak me outside?
Well, it's half a plan.
You can try.
You can try.
So it's a grappling check, right?
Yeah.
This is my first time ever being grappled.
Assuming that Ollie is not consenting to this.
Not consenting.
Yeah, then Sunny, you must make an athletics check. Ollie, you get to choose athletics or acrobatics.
It's not a high roll to beat.
Sunny tries to grab you and pick you up.
I'm a leap
and
on
only
the wind.
succeeds in a hug.
Not even. I slip out of that.
You're just like, do not touch.
Yeah. No. No. You lost. You go.
Solas begins to walk out.
Do you take any precaution, or is this just straight out?
He's just out.
Alright. Anyone follow?
Arazid follows.
Okay.
Is that a Sunny follows as well?
Most of the group's going that way, so Sonny will go with the group.
Alright.
Yeah, if Ares is going, I'm going to go. But I'm going to go stealthily. If I can. If I may.
Roll that check. Nice. Okay. You walk the 30 or so feet out into the entrance of the mine. Back where you started.
I haven't seen this place.
It is, to ground yourself somewhat in the map of the city, it is just next to the Tunga Manor. It is the entrance to the mine that they own. As you walk out into the... Daylight is a generous word, since you are under a mountain, partially, but there is some daylight that is permeating the area, as well as quite a few torches that are dotted around. You see the group that you asked to go first are kind of like able to walk out and are exiting from this area, but in front of you awaits a rather
Bearded lady?
regal looking dwarf.
You can't tell me that doesn't look like a female.
Probably is.
Yes.
Dwarf.
In my headcanon, all dwarves have beards.
Yes.
Oh, you're one of those people. fetishes.
One of the right ones.
Someone who read a lot of Discworld, yes. She is kind of like waiting very calmly, flanked by a couple of guards holding very mean-looking weapons, but she seems to be, fairly calm. But she has been watching the entrance and waiting for you all to emerge. As Solas, being the first one to step out, comes into view, she is like, "Yes, that looks a bit more like what I expected."
Hey, how's it going?
So, have we met this person?
Nope.
Ollie's gonna dip. Whoop. Hiding behind this.
I have been told
Dip or
that
dab?
not only did you manage to defeat quite a few of my lesser guards, but then you went on to defeat our little problem in the mines.
I guess so, yeah.
Oh, I must congratulate you. My name is Khalil Tunga, Lady of the House. I would like to...
Hello, friend!
Well met, friend. I would like to know if the 6 of you would be interested in a little afternoon tea.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, she sees me? Ah, sticks. Fine. Fine.
What's the worst thing that could possibly happen?
Well, as long as you promise to be hospitable, I'm sure.
We have a shank of pig roasting at the moment, and some fresh honey wine being brought in from the vineyards out to the west.
Sounds fancy.
I do hope that you have your listening ears on. There is something I would like to propose to you, but not here, if that is suitable. My men are cleaning up the rest of the problem now. Please, follow me.
Right, off we go.
Okay. Not sketchy at all. Not sketchy at all.
With the group of you being led away, without much issue.
Enemies don't invite you to eat. They try to eat you.
That would be Sunny's
Farcloon?
experience.
Can I say Farcloon? Can I say
You are led out without much ceremony. She leads you out of the tradesman's gates and then round to the entrance of the manor proper. Just give me 2 seconds to set it up. Talk amongst yourselves.
Well, Sonny's
Sunny?
law is that he forgets that people are distrustworthy.
Okay, how's Jem doing? How's Jem reacting to this this situation?
I don't know. I need to ask the DM about that. Oh my god, why have I not asked the DM about that?
He seems like pretty chill right now.
Oh, he got super smoked out.
Yeah, he's like, the humming has definitely decreased quite a lot. You're not entirely sure if he's like really high or just sleeping.
I was thinking that, I'll be honest.
I when you were talking about making a new friend, I'm like, hey, Jem gets a friend! And it turned out to be a tentacle monster. I'm like, I think we can make this work.
Oh god. If you
You got
had been
lots of
here
legs.
last week and you were like trying to roll that animal handling check, that I mean that would have failed because it wasn't an animal, it was an aberration. But maybe
Well,
if you'd have
animal
rolled a
handling
crit, I
is
would have
just
waived
using
that.
techniques, not directly animals.
True, true.
So it might have succeeded if I'd rolled like 3 20s in a row. Ooh, I
Ooh,
haven't seen this place.
dang. Fancy.
You are led through the twin doors into the entrance. And then she begins to lead you towards the thrones.
Come on, don't fall behind.
Says the one falling behind.
But I'm just waiting.
Don't worry, Sunny has ritual for detecting poison.
Thanks for
Oh, yeah?
doing Kesu's token as well there, demon.
That's right.
So if so he can do magic dance over food before eating if people are unsure.
Nice. Khalil walks up the steps and takes her seat at the very middle, most important looking seat in the room. Now, dinner will be served momentarily. Yes.
Is that statue behind her looking like a giant tentacled hentai monster?
No, it looks like a dwarf. A very noble looking armoured dwarf.
I think we're okay.
Welcome to my home. Allow me to introduce yourself. This is my husband, Thordus.
Daughter on the right, isn't it? Left. Sorry.
He kind of
They're right.
He struggles to stand up. He's quite a round man, who looks somewhat dishevelled. The appearance is also somewhat accentuated by the fact that his pockets all seem to be overflowing with things. You can see like a little grass shoot sticking out, some like wooden sticks, just weird misshapen bulges in all of the pockets of his rather large coat.
I wonder what happens if we ask him if leaves blow. Or grass blow. Whatever.
He gives you a slight nod with his head, and he's all like, "Welcome! Well met!" And, of course, this is our daughter, Brildil.
Fucking called it.
Now, it is very clear that you have all proven yourselves to be warriors of merit in this town. Would you agree?
I guess that could be said.
That is very good, because I have a rather delicate matter to talk to you all about. She gets up from her seat and kind of stands at the edge of the raised platform. The upstart who calls himself Henry Underbarrow. Have you heard of him? Of course you have. He is all over the city nowadays. 2 months
We
ago.
knew him when he wasn't in charge.
No,
Oh?
for quite a while, in fact.
By the way, is anyone else having their brain done in by the grid being overlaid on squares that aren't in line with the squares over the grid they're overlaid on?
Not really.
No.
Probably because I'm used to it, though.
Wait.
We've yeah, but we haven't we don't super know Underbarrow. We're accidental acquaintances.
That's a good way to put it, yes.
Yeah, right.
You say you knew him beforehand? Before
Yes,
he became
yeah.
famous?
Yeah, not for any crazy reason. Not anything.
We were, put it simply...
No,
we were-
don't put it simply. Put it simply. We We worked in a restaurant together at an inn.
I see. Was he the same then as he is now?
He was annoying. I don't know. Some things never change, am I right?
He was
He is
grabby
annoying.
and he was grabby, but
He was grabby. Uncommunicative.
But he couldn't do the, He didn't seem to have a touch of magic about him.
Oh, he did seem to have a little. He was definitely touched. And I think he did seem to be a little bit magic, but like not in like a ooh he's magic kind of way, like some other people that I know. But more in like a ew he's magic, like yeah, you know, like he just however he got his magic. It wasn't cool, let's say. It probably is not cool. And he's all like, oh, I need to like steal these crystals. And then like, oh, maybe we can be friends even though I stole your crystal. And then clearly he can't be friends with anybody because he can't even manage basic social interactions or the niceties of saying goodbye when you're going to leave with literally everybody that everybody is everything and everybody. And then he's just gone. And then we come here and he's like a massive jerk. Oh. I don't know about Henry. I just don't know.
She kind
he's
of
the bigger
seems to
jerk
be,
than I am.
She seems to be really struggling to follow, but she's just politely nods and goes, ah, yes. It appears that you are annoyed by him almost as much as we are.
he walked off with friends.
Yes.
All the friends.
Yep, he's a dirty friend stealer.
And what would you say if I were to present the opportunity to you to drive a fairly significant wedge in his plan?
A wedge?
Yes. A spanner in his works.
That sounds painful.
A goblin in his treasury.
Mm.
A sabotage, my dears.
Yeah, I got that. I followed.
I've never heard Goblin in the Treasury. I'm stealing that.
I just
came
liked
up
all
with
the
it on the
different
spot
metaphors.
there, so thanks. It is, at first I didn't really mind him very much, but he is definitely working against the best interests of the city. Not to mention, there is another Dagmar that was around until shortly before he came.
Another Dagmar?
Yes, there is the father, Clarence, and Vang. I believe the father's name is Kalen. Clarence, the son, was set to marry my lovely Brildil over here. Now,
Oh? Mm-hmm.
you may think the same. I believe it is no coincidence that Clarence disappears and then Henry appears and suddenly begins to ingratiate himself in the Dagmar family and marry Vang, the daughter.
So, okay, Brildil, girl. Oh, so sorry to hear about your boyfriend leaving. Your betrothed. Oh my gosh.
She's
okay,
kind of
so-
like sulking in her chair a little bit.
So when's the last time you guys heard from Clarence? Like, what do you think happened?
The last time we heard from him was at a mixer of sorts. It was quite a fancy to-do noble thing. It was also a celebration of the betrothal, or more correctly, it's hard to translate into common speak. A celebration for the promise of a future betrothal.
The future betrothal. Sorry, the future betrothal of Brildil or the future betrothal of
Yes.
Vang? Oh, of Brildil.
Brildil. Brildil and Clarence. They were betrothed to be betrothed.
Oh,
It is
okay.
quite a. There are not many excuses to have a good party here. A few have been made up over the years. Well, that was the last time. He seemed to be fine. He was drinking, he was enjoying the festivities along with my dear daughter. Uh, Everyone was celebrating. They went to their separate homes. And then the ball came around. And he did not appear. But who did was Underbarrow.
Underbarrow.
I had never heard of him before that night he swept in, and it felt like everyone was captivated by his presence. It was something that was just drawing others to him. And then it felt like he made a beeline for dear Vang, and she has now become wrapped around his stubby little finger.
Oh. So, so what's your main issue besides breaking up Brildril's happy ending, and now that he's getting with Vang? I'm just not understanding why you hate him so much.
He came out of nowhere. My family has been here since its founding. For 4 generations, we have produced all of the metals that Naglamund runs on. Even the trinket makes are more of an established family than him. Yet he has the audacity to come here and just start taking things over. It is not right, and the way he is doing it is not natural. I do not trust him. And I think he should be removed.
And you would like us to do the removal?
Yes.
Mm.
I know that you have the power to do it. After seeing that display inside the mines, well, hearing it, I should say, I will present to you the plan and the opportunity, and you will follow through with the means.
Well, I don't see any reason to object, so.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Solas is kind of our guy.
Okay, we need to go do a thing with him anyway, so let's go do a thing with him that involves beating him up.
Yeah, actually, I'm game. I'm game to beat up Henry. You know, the enemy of my enemy is my frenemy.
She walks down and begins she stretches out her hand upwards towards Solas, kind of holding it out for a handshake.
You will reciprocate.
You share a firm handshake. I am glad that we have a deal. Now, as you can understand, I have some things I need to straighten out in the mine. I will send one of my assistants to where you are staying this evening to discuss matters further. He will fill you in on the details.
Before you leave, just to ask,
Yes.
you wish to know who you're working with?
I work with my family.
No, I mean, do you wish for us to introduce ourselves? You do not know our names, I presume.
Oh, I am sorry, Solas. I should have mentioned have had some people following you a little while.
What? Ollie's gonna turn around, look around, like, I don't recognize any of the. Can I roll insight to see if I recognize like one
Ooh.
of the guards from like when I was projectile vomiting,
That would be
spitting, or
perception.
something? That would be perception. Okay, great.
Oh, well,
And anyone
Should've
else
expected
can as
that, to
well
be
if
fair.
they want.
Why
Solas
not?
is fine with it. Solas is fine with it.
I see nothing.
Ollie, you see quite a bit before the others, a figure begins to it kind of begins to split the air in two, and then a figure steps out from the nothingness that was there before. This is Isolde.
Solas kind of chuckles to himself.
Is that a picture of somebody? Yes. Oh, I know who that is.
Cool.
Huh.
Well, that's
I
funny.
haven't thought about that show in a very long time.
Show?
That's clearly the thief from Dungeons and Dragons. I forget her name. I never actually learnt any of their names.
I'm not sure what you're referring to, I just thought it was cool arts.
Okay, there is no way. Good grief. Where do I?
I'm genuinely confused. And I am very impressed that you managed to find a GIF with that on it, Ollie.
Oh no. And Ollie, her eyes are gonna get wide when she sees Isolde pop out of nowhere, like, wow. Like how.
Well, nice to know
Ollie-
you have people of power on your side.
Ollie's gonna wave at Isolde.
Isolde
And
is
kind of-
a much, much taller figure than
Yeah,
the
that,
others.
that person.
Oh.
The Dungeons and Dragons TV show of God knows how
I didn't
far
even know
back.
there was a show. Okay.
It was weird.
Hmm.
One of the people was an acrobat, and that was their class.
Or maybe they.
And now I look, there's a absolute buck ton of art about this person. I really shouldn't be surprised, if I'm honest.
Yeah, the artwork definitely looks like it's been heavily inspired by that character design. Same colour and everything. But yeah,
And the boots.
yeah. But Isolde kind of, she steps out of the air. And she walks upwards. She puts her hood down to reveal two very small horns protruding from the top of her head. She does a deep bow.
Different.
She is my right hand woman when it comes to stealthy matters. She keeps her ear quite close to the ground. Pun not intended. And some of the guards begin to like chuckle along with her in a very sycophantic manner.
Arazid,
That joke flew over both Sully and my head.
Solas just stares and smiles.
So, wait, what was the line again?
The Isolde keeps her ear quite close to the ground. Even closer than the Tungas do.
Oh, the Tungas are the short people.
Yep.
dwarves.
Wait, so a dwarf just made a short person joke?
Yep.
Just made a ground
Isn't that
joke.
like cutting off the beard to spite your face?
Dare you suggest I cut off my beard, sir?
I think it looks lovely.
That is really well done artwork.
Thank you. This beard has been passed down through the Tunga family for 4 generations.
I've always wanted to grow one, but it
Sunny
just won't
doesn't
stick
ask
to my
how that
face.
works.
How do you pass it down? Yeah.
Isolde kind of like she steps around you guys. As she passes some of you, you get this a very specific scent that comes past. She seems to be, despite being such a shadowy individual, is also one who enjoys a high life. There is a scent of vanilla and juniper about her.
Have we smelt that before?
Roll a history check.
No, that's not. Character sheet.
Um,
I'm gonna give it a go as well.
yeah. Solas and Kabor would probably have the best results.
Okay.
Although apparently Sunny is knocking it out of the park, so...
I don't know if I can even smell anything. I'm not sure if I should roll.
I would assume that you can. You can talk despite not having vocal cords.
Fair enough.
Some of you are kind of hit immediately by the familiarity of the smell. It is something that you have smelt in the Broken Mast Inn. You smelt it in the Dagmar Manor, and you smelt it in the Hall of Records.
By the way,
As quickly as she appears, she disappears once more, and the smell begins to fade.
don't want to keep you anymore.
Yes. I am currently setting up some cleanup crews for the mining situation.
Well, we did our best. But yes, it would be necessary.
I thank you once more. And
You might want to. Oh, pardon me, madame.
Yes, dear.
You might want to wait maybe for like the rest of the day, or set up some sort of ventilation system. This is pretty smoky down there,
Yes.
and I'd hate for your lungs to clog up with smoke after fixing the original lung issue.
I have some of my some of my more well ventilated servants dealing with that at the moment.
Okay, not gonna touch on the slave labor and not caring about their lungs issue there. But, okay. All right, great. It was lovely to meet you.
Farewell, all of you. You will find some cups of tea waiting for you in the atrium. Have a good rest of your day. And
Okay,
Isolde will
Sola.
see you in the evening.
Thank you.
Also, we'll give a bow and just walk out.
Alright. You are allowed to leave. And once you get past this fork in the hallway at the end, you return back to the atrium that immediately leads to the outside of the mansion. And indeed, set out on a small table is a nice pot of steaming honey wine, like a very nice, rich and warm wine, as well as some very small-looking sandwiches.
Well, there's absolutely no need to possibly cast detect poison on this stuff at all whatsoever. Eat.
Oh, this quaint. Oh my god, I hate keeping my parents. Solas just sits down, looking fairly exasperated.
Sunny's already eaten.
Great.
All of that thing about poison was in everyone's heads.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The honey wine coats your throat in this like very like thick, sweet, warm feeling. And then the sandwiches themselves, you bite in, and there are these like small green spheres inside that taste like water. You crunch them, and they seem fairly basic tasting.
So there's things in here that don't taste of things.
Pretty much. AKA cucumber.
Oh!
Because what would an upper class function be without tiny little cucumber sandwiches?
So true. Every tea party I've ever been to.
You are able to fill your stomachs.
Cucumbers taste of things.
And then are able to leave, should you desire.
Okay, well, I'm
Are you
not gonna.
seriously telling me you can't
I'm not
taste
gonna eat
cucumber?
anything because I'm still not feeling so great. In fact, guys, could we just go to sleep?
I mean, I believe we have a place prepared for us by lady, so.
I thought we were gonna go back to the Broken Mass. She says that she's been following us everywhere. Why don't we just go back there?
Well, do you want to be courteous?
I don't think it's fair to assume that she has a place for us all to sleep in her manor.
I mean, she explicitly said someone would guide us to a place, I believe. That's what I was mishearing.
Really? Oh, okay. I thought we were gonna meet up with her with Isolde later. I thought we were gonna meet up with her at the Broken Mass. But whatever. You know what? I'm exhausted and I just want to sleep. So wherever you guys find to sleep, I'm just gonna sleep there.
The exact words that Lady Tunga said was that one of her servants will meet you later on where you are staying.
Okay.
So, broken thing.
Okay, just scratch what I just said.
Kesu
Okay.
bids a farewell and indicates that he's heading back to the hospital to check on all his patients and deal with the rest of the aftermath.
Random annoying question. Did we ever figure out how tower shields worked?
We did not. That is a mildly annoying question because I forgot to look it up. I'm probably just gonna say that, well, honestly, no. I don't want to make a snap ruling based on nothing. I'll look it up after this session, I promise. I'm making a note right now.
No hurry. We've got like a week. Or a month.
Mhm.
Okay. So we head up to the Broken Mast. We see our old pal, Skinny Grimsby.
Yeah,
Hi, Grims.
you head straight back there.
That's the Ollie is thinking of sleep and nothing else.
What about the rest of the party?
I think Solas will kind of stay up downstairs for a bit longer. Then eventually he will go to sleep. In his ring, of course.
I don't know. So it's kind of... I mean, it's getting towards the afternoon right now, so... Yeah, back to the inn and sleepy time, I assume?
Yeah.
For the rest of the party, too.
That would be lovely.
Alright. You guys are able to head back towards like the broken mast without any issue. The guards that were on the elevator, they kind of look at one another as you approach and straight away kind of like letting the door open without the usual like, hello, can I use the thing please? Like they seem to know you now.
We're important.
Sonny has made friends.
So either a good thing or a very bad thing. I don't really care.
I'm too tired to care.
Well, it would be the first time a bunch of friends eventually tried to kill Sonny, so, you know, he's getting used to it.
Aw. Getting
There
used
was
to betrayal.
Well, there was that big dragon, and, you know, that was a big example of a big thing to get used to. So if you get used to that, you can get used to the small ones. They're less fire resistant.
And weird and undead and gruff.
Sonny doesn't hold that against them.
Honey, your ability to make friends is gonna save the whole world one day. And
You might not
also,
be wrong.
can I sleep in your arms? Could you just carry me? I'm so tired.
Yeah, you didn't really have a good night's sleep last night. You received blunt force trauma to your head, and were also quite drunk.
And I lost some money. I
Ah.
lost five
The most devastating thing of all.
monies.
Sunny, make a dexterity check, please.
Sonny,
Wait, nope.
Sonny, we didn't even ask that dwarf lady if she was gonna pay us for killing
So does this mean I
the
accidentally
tentacle
dropped her?
thing.
You do.
Can
Ollie
we
is
go
kind
back?
of like like Sunny, you're used to Ollie's nonsense by now. So you're kind of like, you're half expecting her to like fall into your arms, but honestly you're thinking she's just playing another character, so that when her weight does kind of let itself go and flomp into yours, your arms aren't really ready, and instead Ollie just face plants into the sand. As you're kind of like, I guess you're all kind of there at the moment.
Ollie's just gonna lie face down in the sand for a second and then roll over and thanks for getting me to bed, buddy. I'm just gonna sleep right here. And she's gonna pass out.
As you reach the center of the of this square, go ahead.
Sonny feels like he should probably, if she's gonna sleep here, maybe he should take her money for safekeeping. Because somebody's going to take that.
Suddenly, Ollie,
Okay.
you are much more awake.
Yeah,
Someone has said your
perception.
trigger words.
Yeah.
Sonny would have
Okay.
given it
I'm up.
back.
I'm
But
up.
she asked for it.
I'm up.
Like Sunny, you wrap your hand around the money pouch and you like unclip it from
Ollie
her.
comes back up with it.
Yeah, you unclip it and you begin to like lift it up, and then you notice that there are two hands clamped very firmly either side of the pouch, and like you lift it and you've caught an Ollie. And suddenly you're on
Alright.
your feet again, Ollie.
I would have taken the magic weapon next, because that's also a thing they would have nicked.
I trusted you, you turtle. And I'm just gonna.
Sonny's just going
Where is
to walk
it?
off back to the thing, because now he can drag her along.
Great.
Okay.
As you reach this like place where the three roads connect, you see the familiar old face of Drusilla, who is currently delivering a little sermon. And you kind of walk in about halfway, and she's like, "Is what Underbarrow can do for you, is what you can do for Underbarrow. He has already succeeded in ending the most dangerous threat to you all. The plague is no more, ladies and gentlemen." And several of the onlookers like begin to cheer at this.
Sounds like a good guy.
How far away are the onlookers from the person that's yelling at them?
She's on like a crate.
Like,
And then
is there
they're
like
in a crowd
20
around
feet?
her.
So there isn't like a 20-foot radius around her.
No.
Well, casualties of war.
Fine. They'll know eventually.
Wait, no, I killed it. I killed it.
Shh.
Mm.
They'll know eventually.
But it was me, Solas.
It was all
Everyone-
of us.
It definitely appears as if Underbarrow both already knows about the ending of the plague and has already organised propaganda to take credit for it. And do you approach or just walk past?
Solas is just gonna walk
I think we
past.
should just walk first.
Okay.
Ollie's going wherever Sunny's leading her.
In the Broken
Sunny will go with the
Mask
group.
Inn, you see that there is a lot more activity kind of behind the bar than last time you were there. And as soon as you walk in the doors of the tavern, you see that this is because a certain rotund figure is back. Makan, the Devourer.
Macam, a lady. Oh, Ollie's gonna like almost pass out and just slump onto Sunny. My lady.
Sunny
girl.
could probably seat Ollie like next to Makan, the Devourer, but it's possible that Ollie may be devoured in the process.
Don't do it, buddy.
On the one hand, friends should get to know each other. On the other hand,
Not that intimately.
does Sunny want less friends? Wait, hold on. If is Ollie still holding on to the coin pouch that Sunny's holding on to?
Oh yeah, like
Yeah.
Then
Iron.
She
I-
kind of
there's no
wrestled
way.
it out of you.
Oh, then she can do whatever she wants.
oh,
We're
Grimsby
inside.
will.
It'll probably be fine.
Grimsby regards you all with a little bit of trepidation as you approach. It's like, evening, gents, milady.
Grimsby. I'm going to flip a gold coin to him. Your finest bed, sir.
Very well, very well. You can have the same one you had last night. I've not sold it out yet.
No puke in it.
No. The
Not
sheets
yet.
have been purified.
Good man, good man. I'm gonna pat him on the shoulder, but absolutely miss. And then I'm gonna.
Yeah, you
What
missed by at
a
least a meter.
Yes. I think a good night's sleep will do me very, very nicely. And I'm gonna just crawl myself,
Yeah.
fanny pack, vice grip in hand, up the stairs.
Alright. Anyone else who's looking to get an early night, or do we let Ollie alone?
I'll go up with her. Honestly, even Sunny's character feels like he could use an early night right now, and he only just woke up.
Fair. What about the rest of the party?
I think Solas will wait till everyone else is asleep.
Kabor?
It seems everyone's tiring for the evening, and perhaps.
So you join the other two upstairs.
Bedtime.
Have a nice little sleep. I guess you guys would be kind of bone tired after your day.
But
Especially Kabor would be bone tired.
Ooh.
Arazid, do you remain behind with Solas or join the rest of the party upstairs?
I think Arazid's gonna remain with Solas.
The pair of you can while away some hours sitting in the main room of the inn. There's quite a lot more energy about the place tonight. Not only is Makan single-handedly eating out the entire kitchen, but also giving them
Whoa.
enough money to oh my god, but also giving them enough money to, you know, pay like a whole year's rent, it would seem, through the amount of dishes that she's buying. The group of goblins are back playing their card game again and enjoying a little bit of ale, and you even see some faces that were from the hospital who are very gladly downing grog and just being like, I can sing again.
That's adorable.
My throat is clear, as is my mind. And yeah, there's that couple at the bar just begin bursting into song. And the rest of the tavern begins to clap along. And they end up going for about half an hour. This pair just harmonizing, they seem to be making up songs on the spot because their lyricism isn't great.
I think Solas will do his best to join in.
Roll a performance check.
Nice.
Solas
Nice.
steals the crowd. The duet turns into a three-way. I couldn't think of any other name for it in that moment.
A trio. A trio.
Nah, I like mine better.
It's fine.
It ends and the crowd begins like raining down silver and copper and gold coins at you.
Solas trying his best to catch as much as he can without it like actually hitting him.
Yeah. Make a dexterity check, please. A save, sorry, a save.
Okay. Okay.
A
5,000 tiny coins.
a gold coin hits you like right between the eyes. You kind of like try and like raise your hands up to catch it. You fumble it a few times back and forth, and finally able to catch onto it. You scoop up a couple more coins, and overall, through your performance, you earn a whopping 6 gold, 7 silver, and 28 copper pieces.
I'll bloody take that.
And that is what you have earned. The other two were able to scoop up their own stuff as well.
Nice. So, Solas kind of rubs the bridge of his nose. It's like, ow, worth it. Okay, takes back down.
That was really amazing. I didn't know you could like sing.
I didn't know either, to be fair. Haven't done it in a while.
Well, I'm happy that you had some fun.
Last time I did something like that would have been with joy, wouldn't it? Yeah. But either way, that's fun.
Yeah. My voice is not equipped for singing. It just doesn't do it very well. Which sucks because like on my mom's side, I think like my great something grandma was like a bard.
Interesting. Well, I wish I could say something about my family, but I don't know much about.
That's okay. You know yourself, and that's really important.
That's fair.
The only tradition we have in my family is Dad's side has had dyslexia every other generation. It skipped his.
Woo!
Arazid is not going to drink. Arazid is going to abstain.
Good idea.
Okay. I think as things begin to die down, Solas is going to head upstairs.
Fair enough. I would presume with that you guys rejoin the rest of the party.
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna reuse this map. Because maps are fun. And I've had enough staring at that one map for a little while.
I remember this room.
Ooh.
I'm amazed that Ollie never robbed all the others.
I thought I'd change it up a bit. sort of just to fill you in, Kabor, this is the tavern that they were all referencing back from a previous city. I'm reusing the map for it for now.
Makes sense.
Because just one tavern to another. But you guys are in a different room to the one you were in the other inn. Thought I'd change it up in that way at least.
Fair enough.
A lot of bad stuff happened in that other room, so that's good.
Did it? Thought it was all very fun
Vola.
stuff. Right, yeah.
I don't remember anything bad happening in any tavern room.
I remember Vola
That I was
trying to
in.
set up a workshop in a corner of one of our shared rooms, and everybody going, no. No, not today, Satan.
Which actually raises the question, would Kabor have taken a bed for himself as well, or left it for another party member?
I'd leave it for another.
Sunny's already on bed, so he's
yeah.
just not going to complain. I don't know how we got there, but, you know.
Same old
It's
way.
soft.
Solas doesn't even really need a bed. He can just turn into a ring and rest on a bedside table.
Well, he's going to put his ring under Ollie's pillow. And then,
Won't you suffocate? Like, don't you still need air?
no, I don't turn into the ring, I go into it. It's
I
like
know,
a small
but-
concealed room.
Well, I know, but doesn't the room still need, like, airflow into it? Like,
It has a vent.
It's a demi-plane, so it has its own rules and such.
okay, because I was honestly thinking about, like, later on, like, trapping you in your ring in, like, a bottle and, like, making you do my bidding. but that's not gonna work.
But yeah, kind of slides under Ollie's pillow, goes into his vessel, and sleeps in his double king-size bed.
Nice.
Just rub it in.
Yep.
So all of you begin to just go to sleep, long rest type thing?
Yep.
Okay. You all gain the benefits of a long rest.
Yay.
Good lord. Chonky. In the morning, you wake up and you see underneath your door has been shoved a roll of parchment.
Ooh, secret love letter.
I feel like
Secret love
Solas would notice
letter.
that first, because he only has 6 hours in his ring.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm asleep.
Yeah, I got the sense that Ollie would probably crash for like a solid 12 hours, kind of one of those types of sleep where you get just super underslept, so you sleep for like a whole day.
Like a
And
death.
then you're really confused when you wake up.
Yeah, and you're not entirely sure if you slept for 1 hour or 1 day.
Is it night or day? Is it night or morning?
I know exactly if I've slept for 1 hour one day. It was light when I went to sleep, so is it light when I wake up?
Yes.
So therefore I slept 24 hours.
I
course.
mean, why not? You can certainly all gain the benefits.
No,
of
I
a
mean
long-
real life. I just make note of what the light is when I go to sleep, and that lets me know if I slept for 1 hour or if I've been asleep for 2 days.
That's why you keep oversleeping kept. You've been pretty good at it lately. Oversleeping the beginning of the game.
Yeah, I might have accidentally stayed awake until I had only 6 hours to get to sleep. Repeatedly.
Fair enough. Anyway, Solas, you pick it up and there's a pretty weighty roll of parchment. Kind of, it's like layer by layer. You peel it back, you find that there are 6 handwritten invitations to a wedding. The wedding.
Interesting.
And you do see that they do indeed have your names on them. But not your full names, only the name that you have referred to one another by since entering the city. So, for example, Arazid is not written as Zalfax, Ironstrike, Tocyrn, Arazid, Folkor. It's just Arazid.
As it should be.
Ollie is not written as Ollie Gunnell, it is just Ollie.
What did they do
I
for
think we're the
Sunny?
only ones.
They wrote Sunny the Turtle.
Oh, what? Oh, he's
Sunny
just
has a last
descriptor?
name!
Wow.
Apparently Sunny is a common enough name that some distinguishment through race was needed.
Sunny will carefully consider the fact of having a last name, and does he want to keep it?
I think what he'll do is take his own, put it in his bag, and put the other 5 on like one of the dresses or something. It's kind of laid out.
I assume probably like Kabor would be awake now,
Probably.
because you don't really need as much sleep as some of the others. You gain your invitation. And after you kind of like end up separating all the invitations, you see that there is still parchment left. But the 3 remaining spools of parchment are written in some very weird arcane language. Each of the pieces of parchment hum with a strong energy about them. They are spell scrolls of some form.
I think Solas would like to spend some time deciphering those.
Okay. Do you have identify?
I don't know.
Then you can, unless someone else does.
I have detect magic
Identify.
for figuring out what the magic is. Is it the shiny sort, the glowy sort, or the sparkly sort?
So that's a no.
Did you say you did have it, Kabor?
I was hoping I did, but I've locate object, which is just as good.
It's of just as much help here. I'll put it that way.
Oh, I do have a sort of semi-plan B.
Mm-hmm.
If we make a point, if we use Augury to ask what happened, to ask if I say take parchment, point at a person, and ask if I use this on person, does bad thing happen? And we just go through it until we figured out which ones we don't want to point at fellow party members when we're using them.
I will rule it that you can attempt to identify what the scrolls do with a good Arcana roll.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go.
That's probably a good Arcana roll.
They
DC
roll
was
a
20.
10. Yeah.
It is.
No.
The DC was 18.
There we go. You are able to surmise that it is some form of enchantment spell. It is the same spell on all 3 scrolls, and it is of a middling power.
Alright, that's something. Just gonna keep all those 3 to myself.
Please tell me those are 3 scrolls of fast friends.
As you have been looking at them for a little while, you flip one of the 3 scrolls over as you're trying to understand what they were, and on the back is written, "Use on Underbarrow on the day, and finish him. Yours, LT."
Right.
So, everyone who can cast a magic thingy take a spell scroll?
That might be an idea, yeah, actually. I've got the 3 of them. Okay. So yeah, I think instead of pocketing all 3, he'll kind of realise that and think. Hand one off to Kabor, and then kind of just place the last one on Sunny's bedside table.
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, I assume Sunny's awake. I was talking about me sleeping 24 hours.
Oh, I know, but this is like 6 hours into the night, and Solas is.
Oh,
Yeah.
I forgot that.
Kabor will take one, no problem. You're never entirely sure if he does sleep. He just kind of sits there and is really still. Yeah, all three of you get one of the scrolls. Morning comes. What do you guys do? The wedding is in 3 days' time.
Hey, Ollie is gonna wake up and stretch and turn over and see an invitation on her bedside table. And she's gonna just like look around and open it up. And then and I'm gonna kick and like, oh my god, we got invited to the wedding!
Down just before that.
This is legit! And I'm gonna go and I'm gonna hop on Arazid's bed. Arazid, wake up! Wake
What?
up!
What? Huh? What?
We're invited to the wedding! We don't even have to sneak in! Oh my gosh! Wait a second. Do we all get invited?
I think so.
Sunny looks at
Okay.
invitation, looks up, looks down, looks up. Maybe.
Is there an invitation for Kesu?
Kesu's got an invitation.
Okay,
But it needs to be delivered.
I'll take that because he'll probably just eat it or burn it or something when he sees that it's got our names written on it. Oh my gosh. Oh, this is so great. Oh. Okay, so the wedding's in 3 days. We need to get you guys ready. I'm ready. I'm like, and I'm gonna pull out my dress, like this black, like purplish black.
You haven't
like,
picked
oh wait,
up the dress
I
yet.
don't have it yet. Oh my gosh. Oh my god, guys. Okay, you have to come with me to Lady Godiva so I can get my dress, and then maybe we could talk about getting you all some dresses. I don't know how we're gonna make enough money to get you guys in like looking good for this wedding. Sunny, all we need is like a bow tie. That'll be great. Arazid, probably cheap, you know, given that you don't need as much fabric.
Can we get a mini?
I knew you were gonna say that.
And Kabor, another bow tie would be fine.
Just a bow tie.
We need to get hold of a mini bow tie. For Gem.
Oh yes! Oh my gosh! Yeah. And then, well, Kesu. I mean, what can you do? It always looks terrible. Maybe we could get him like, maybe we could paint his mask something festive.
Sunny just needs a Pope hat.
Get him some clean bandages. Pope hat. And then yeah, Solas. We pretty much have to make Solas not look like a homeless
A
genie.
Pope hat with a rim, so it's a top Pope hat.
Alright.
Taupe hat.
Sounds pretty fantastic. Okay, so who wants to come with me to see Lady Godiva?
I know I'm obligated to go. So.
That's the
Sunny
spirit.
will help you get there.
That sounds like
Okay,
a
but
yes.
Solas, you should also come because you look terrible. And I say that in the best possible way. Your sandals are perfect. Don't change a thing. The rest of you could use an update.
I'd forgotten your obsession with the sandal.
So,
We have not had waffles in a while. That is true. That is true.
you are offered breakfast. It is stew.
Unwaffleable.
Not with that attitude. Consume a little breakfast, and then am I right in thinking you are all heading on over to the tailor's?
I guess so.
Alright. It is located here. You're able to enjoy a fairly fulfilling little stew. Head down into the transient quarter without issue. And then Ollie is like almost running like through the streets. You pass quite a few more soldiers. than previous trips into the transient quarter. I assume you guys bring Kesu's invitation with you.
Oh yeah, it's in my fanny pack for safekeeping,
Great.
so he doesn't actually find it until we have to whip him
Yeah,
out.
I agree that he's going to take one look at that thing and go, heresy!
Mhm.
You find Madame Godiva sitting on her little rocking chair outside of her hut, smoking out of a long pipe, her little feet dangling in the air.
I came as fast as I could.
Oh, good morning, dearie. I have just finished with your dress.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait to see it. Oh, I'm gonna change out of Shang and then back into Ollie.
Would you like to see it? I think it is some of my best work yet.
Please. And Ollie's just gonna drop her robe and
Please wait until you're inside the hut for that, my dear.
robe me. Oh, okay. Ollie's gonna
brings you
pick
into
up
the
her
hut.
robe and go into the hut.
And inside you see the dress.
The fuck?
Oh my god, I love it so much. Oh my god, oh, my butt has never looked better. Oh my goodness. Oh,
Oh,
the
yeah, hips.
shoulders, this thing. Is this like a sun? Oh, it's so perfect. Okay, Ollie's gonna put it on, and she's gonna change her hair to kind of a black purple to match with like red streaks in it and like maybe red eyes, and just be like, oh my god, I love it so much. Oh my god, you are worth every penny. And Ollie is just gonna, every copper, and Ollie is just gonna go out and twirl for the guys. Look at this shit. And she's gonna shake her butt. Look at this.
To each their own.
But anyway, she could get you guys looking so good too.
I tried to go for something that was smart but casual, but for a wedding, but for a funeral, and well, I couldn't get something for all of them, so I found something that was just too fabulous for every situation.
You did perfectly.
I have a question.
Yes.
Do you have any pre-tailored suits for gnomes?
Oh, I have some suits, but I would like to, just make sure that it fits properly. I have a little black suit that no one ever came to pick up.
I would like to try those, maybe. I don't know.
Absolutely, dearie. Come on in.
He comes in, but he's nervous about it.
Her hut is kind of... It looks a lot smaller than it actually is from the outside, because all of the walls are covered in like multiple layers of like fabric, and like hooks on the wall with like 10 different outfits that have been hung up on each hook. She kind of like runs through them all and looks and is like, aha! And she produces your standard gnome-sized tuxedo. Why won't you try this on, my dear?
Okay, I will. I'll do that. Thanks. Okay, is there like anywhere private I could go? I'm not like Ollie. I don't just disrobe myself in immediate areas.
You can use the hut. I will step out.
Thank you. Okay.
And she does step out, shuts the door behind, and you're left in mostly darkness. The only illumination is coming through a few cracks in the roof past you.
Oh boy. Okay. I'm just gonna put on this thing very quickly, and probably incorrectly. I don't think he's ever worn a suit before.
Just tell me
Just
when
like
you're
a
ready.
true guy would.
He steps out.
So do we roll a dice to find out if you put it on backwards?
I think that Arazid has enough intelligence to know that collars generally go around the back, the opening of jackets is generally at the front, but you're not entirely sure if the trousers are around the right way or not. But overall, you look fairly dashing.
Dashing, wow.
You
Thank you, voice in the sky.
You look so handsome, dearie.
Thank you, wow. Compliments.
If you
I guess clothes really do make the man.
Yes, I say that to little Webley all the time.
Do we know who Webley is?
Yeah, well, Webley's the shopkeeper, or you know, like the clerk boy
Oh,
at
that guy,
the
yes.
Sword and Sheath, Brightsteel's boyfriend.
Oh, if you want that suit, it will be 5 gold.
I can do that, thank you.
My pleasure. Is anyone else looking for some fresh sticks?
Yes.
I love that so much.
Points at Gem. Needs bow tie.
You can, she kind of, like, looks over your shoulder into, like, the little dip in your shell where Gem sits. And you can see she's just, like, smiling and tearing up. And she's like, oh, what a precious little thing. I can probably fashion a pair of matching bow ties for you and your little bug here. It won't take me more than half an hour.
If Sonny grins any harder, the top of his head is coming off.
Do you have a colour preference?
Yellow or orange?
I have both. You know what? I'll do stripes. For the pair of those will be 15 gold, please.
Okay.
She takes the money from you, disappears inside. Do you guys wait around for half an hour?
Oh yeah. Oh, Ollie's just gonna be like working the dress up and down the street, like, you know, doing like the hip shake booty thing, and maybe like some pedestrians that get too close, I just like knock them into the side of buildings. Like,
Well, to be fair, there is a whole lot of shake available.
there is.
You never
And I'm
filmed
making use.
robots.
Oh, God.
Oh, I do kind of remember. Are we talking about like that Aunt Fanny
Yes.
snail
Yes.
robot character? Yeah.
That, but like all the way around.
Uh-huh. Boom, 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 boom,
Alright.
boom, boom, boom.
Because half an hour will pass, unless you guys want to do anything else and just kind of like wait outside. It's more like about 20-25 minutes. Madame Godiva returns with one bow tie that is like literally wrapped around one of her fingers, and another that she's holding. Why won't you try these on? Would you like to put this one on your small gentleman?
Okay.
That's so cute.
Mm-hmm.
And she offers you the teeny tiny little bow tie. Gem is just gonna sit there on your shoulder, just loyally going like.
So I now have a bow-tied bug and a bow-tied turtle.
Yes. Gem's humming takes on a much happier and more positive, lighter note when the bow tie is on. He kind of like shakes his butt back and forth a little bit.
It's a shame I don't have the model of Sonny. I could add a bow tie.
Yeah, and you similarly look handsome in that bow tie. Now, what about you two? Are you looking for any nice clothes? add a bit of shape to that little thin frame of yours, my dear? She says, looking at Kabor.
I think a bow tie will suit me fine.
Very well, very well.
And for me, I feel like I have a bit more of an elaborate thought. I do have a custom order, however, I'm a bit tight on it, so at least that's if my friends don't chime in on price, but
Oh.
well, I was thinking something more so out of character here.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously Solas went to the Temple of Mechas back in Draz.
Yep.
He would want something that looks like the stuff they wore, but a bit more fit for combat, in a sense.
Ah. Alright, so some kind of like fire priest robes, but like we're
Yeah.
talking like warrior priest
Yeah.
in a sense.
Yes.
She's really scratching her head here, and she's like, I can do some of that, but if we're looking for warrior adjacent things, maybe you might be better off getting the metal parts from the sturdy sheath.
Oh no, I don't need it to be armored. I would have that myself.
Oh, I see, okay. Give me 1 second. Oh, don't mind me, excuse me. And she's produced this long white strip of fabric out from one of her pockets, and it's got kind of marks in very regular parts or along the strip, and she's just like wrapping it around various areas of your body and like measuring your limbs, it seems. Oh, let me see. I mean, I could get this done for you before the wedding, but it would cost you. It would. I think it'd
Ollie's
probably
like-
be about 50 gold.
Ollie wants everybody to look amazing for the wedding. So she's like, okay. And she's gonna boom, 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 boom over there. And she's gonna give her 55 gold. Like, make sure it's spectacular.
55. Oh, gorgeous. Thank you. With that, actually, just mind me 1 second. She pops back into her hut. You hear a rummaging sound, and she emerges with the brightest red bow tie you have ever seen. Ooh. It's almost shining with how red it is. I think this would suit you quite nicely, dear, and hands it to Kabor.
Thank you.
That is covered. The rest of that amount that your dressed friend just gave me.
Thank you. I look forward to it.
And as for yours, come back tomorrow morning. I'll probably have some good progress made by then.
Will do.
She rushes into the hut, shuts the door, and then you can hear just like furious like rustling, crashing, working hard sounds.
Oh, I wanted to go back in there so I could change out of that. I can change out of it when we get back to the broken mask. I just don't want to wear these and get them dirty.
No.
Yeah.
No, Arazid, we are not wearing these back to the broken mask. What if people see us in our beautiful outfits before the wedding? We have to get changed right here, right now. And Ollie's just gonna drop the dress, put it in her bag, robe on, ready to rock.
Everyone's gonna try to find a secluded area and then change.
Okay. The area behind the hut has got like a little alleyway. This area like right here, that kind of like forms a natural corner that you feel roughly safe enough changing in.
Cool.
And you're back in your street clothes. What do you do with your nice clothes?
Fold them, put them in my bag.
Okay.
So he gets out the friend multiplier so he can see what he looks like with the bow tie. From multiple angles.
You and Jem are both looking styling. The bow tie, the shades of like orange and yellow, seem to like glint in the sunshine.
This is awesome.
What about the dress? It is not going to fit in your fanny pack, Ollie.
No, but I have my yellow backpack.
It is not going to fit in a backpack. Like, this is several meters of dress here.
Okay.
The dress is the backpack. I mean, wait, are the bulbous bits hollow? Because then you basically can store your backpack in the dress.
Yeah.
It does seem that there's like more like padding inside the like hip areas. It's a very carefully constructed dress.
Okay, so I'm gonna roll it up into as much of a ball as I can, so it kind of looks like I'm carrying like a pin cushion in front of me.
Fair enough. And we'll just do with that. Right. What else are you guys wanting to do?
Right, so we have a day. Solas is a day. We're meant to meet with the noblewoman, weren't we?
Which women?
Noblewoman, the dwarf.
Oh yeah. Oh, I don't know. She gave us like orders. She gave us the invites. Like, do we really need to do a follow up, or are you just really hankering for those weird green circle sandwiches?
Well, I mean, consider the fact that we were told that one of her servants would come meet us in the morning when we were staying.
Oh
we just
yeah,
kind of
but
rushed out.
oh, but I thought that her meeting us, like I assumed that it was Isolde who dropped the invites.
I mean, it might have been her, but the way she said it just made me assume that it'd be someone, either, well, a lesser servant than Isolde, and also we'd actually meet them face to face.
I don't know.
It was
I mean-
explicitly told we were to go over the details, I believe.
Fine, but it does sound like really boring. I mean, we could go and see how Kesu's doing. That might be more interesting. It seems like if we're gonna be somewhere, Isolde's been following us like everywhere we go this whole time. So like, why worry? You know, if she needs to talk with us, she's gonna catch up with us. So we might as well go see how Kesu's doing with all those gross sick people. And then maybe we could go and see how my friend Victor's doing with his first couple of days in the army. And then when we're done that, we could go back and see Kendall at the Hall of Records and see like what's up with that girl. You know, we got a lot of people that we could visit. It doesn't have to be
Well, you can do that. I'm going to go back just to be safe.
fine.
Fine.
Okay, so is that back to Tunga Manor? I understand it.
That's back to the tavern, because that's where we were sleeping. So,
Ah. Okay, back to the tavern, everyone?
You okay?
Yeah.
I'm.
Fine.
I don't know what it.
I mean, you don't need to follow me. I'm just saying I'm going there myself. If you want to follow,
I don't want to go. I don't want to go see Kesu all by myself. He's crazy. If I say something weird, he's gonna kill me in 2 seconds, and I always say something
Fine.
weird.
Sonny'll go with Ollie. How does he keep getting dragged into this?
But Sunny, you want to go where all the friends are going, right?
You make a good point. Sonny will go to the tavern.
I'll go with you. It'll be fine.
Oh, but
Kesu lets me
Arazid.
very much better, but you know.
Okay, well, Kesu probably won't kill me if you're there to talk him out of it.
So
We have to not mention the wedding invitations.
Well, just don't mention they have words on them. You'll probably be fine.
I think even that their paper will be bad.
So
Ooh,
Arazid
we could
and
tell him.
Ollie off to the hospital and the rest off to the inn. Was that the plan?
Sounds
Yeah.
about right.
Yeah, I guess so.
Alright. You guys reach the hospital quite a bit before the rest of the group are able to get into the middle layer. You approach around the front of the hospital. You're able to find it quite easily. You follow the smoke. There is a very large pile of figures being burnt in the courtyard. And Kesu, you see, stands about 15 feet away from this bonfire of bodies, and he is just staring at it. What expression he has, you cannot tell.
Maybe this was a bad idea. Maybe we should go catch up with everybody else.
Yeah, I like that idea. I don't,
Yeah.
but I don't know. Maybe he needs help.
He looks like he has it all under control, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Yeah. Let's just go find. Let's just go find the others.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Plug your nose.
So with that, all 5 of you make your way over to the tavern.
Okay.
You climb up into the merchant's quarter, you go down the street to the tavern, and a blur you see in the alleyway behind you, and Isolde steps out of the shadows. And she's just kind of standing there staring at you all.
Girl,
Solas.
how do you do that?
Solas will just divert and silently make his way over.
Morning.
Morning.
I had
Hi.
some trouble waking you earlier. It seemed that you were all dead asleep. No one answered when I knocked.
Oh, well, probably several reasons for that, I can assure you. For example, you know what, I'm just not going to say it. But yes, there are a lot of situations that are going on among us that made it hard to sleep. Well,
Understandable. If I fought a creature like that, I would probably... Well, I'd probably sleep for a week afterwards. You got my notes, I assume.
Yes, we did.
And the scrolls of Hold a Person?
So that's what they were.
That's what they were.
Okay, I demised that they were at least a enchantment, form of enchantment magic. The specifics were a bit beyond me at the time. A bit delirious still, you know. But, yes, we do have those. I've handed them out, one each to each who can use them.
Smart. I'm glad that my mistress chose all of you for this job. Perhaps you should all come into the shadows. It is the best place to talk betrayal. She beckons the rest of the party over.
Who are
So
we
what's this?
betraying? Wait, are we being betrayed? Are we going to betray? Because I wasn't aware we
We're
were.
helping in the
A mix of the
betrayal
both.
of Underbarrow.
It's exciting.
How can we betray him? We're not friends.
No, because we're helping the noble woman, the dwarf woman, who's supposedly associated with him, to betray him. So we are
So
technically
they're
betraying him by proxy.
They're pretend friends?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Sonny is suspicious.
Well, I'm glad that you got my notes. And now I am available to answer questions for you all. I did scribble a little something on the back of one of the scrolls when I couldn't wake you, just in case we wouldn't run into one another again. I'm glad that you came to your senses and returned to the tavern.
Oh, sorry, we had some very, very important wedding business to attend to. I'm sure you understand.
Yes, you bought a... She looks at the thing in your arms. Sparkly cushion?
Yes. Yeah. That's exactly what this is. And Ollie's just gonna sit on it.
Snort. He's like,
Well, yes, we were dragged out this morning. Kind of sort of side glance to Ollie. But yes, I knew we needed to return eventually. So yes.
Now
Let's go
ask your
into-
questions. I know you have them.
I mean, I don't personally. But
So
Okay,
we
I
go to
have
wedding,
so
find
many.
Dandabal, use scrolls on him, and then beat him up till he no longer problem.
Essentially. My mistress wants it done at the ceremony. She
In front of all the other people.
believes that Underbarrow has some very special powers about him.
Go on.
Ones that have... The ones that require his maintenance. She believes that if he is held through magic and unable to control the others, that they will snap out of their control. And she believes that it would be most impactful to have it done at the wedding, before the vows.
Do you think Isolde?
Isolde.
Isolde. Do you think Bang loves Underbarrow? Will the Dagmars be a problem?
I don't believe that she does.
How do you
My
know?
mistress also believes that, because that is not how marriages work in the nobility.
How do they work?
You don't marry for love, you marry for power. Do you think that Brildil really loves Clarence? Of course not.
Oh God, I'd hope so.
But the Dagmars are rich. They are the richest
Aren't the
family.
Tungers?
The Tungers are powerful, but the Dagmars are the rich ones.
What makes the Dagmars so rich? They don't seem to do anything.
Spices, mostly. They also are the ones that most responsible for sourcing exotic goods, like the light crystals, wood, honey, things like that.
Oh, yes. Okay, I'm seeing it. Do you think that the Dagmars would have like a lot of crystals in their house?
I wouldn't know. I've never been.
Can't you go anywhere?
She gives you a smirk.
I do. So no, you don't go anywhere you want to go.
Maybe not. To be perfectly honest, that's not information I would share with you now, is it?
Oh, wow. As long as you aren't creeping out on the street when people are getting changed in broad daylight, there's nothing wrong with you.
Yes, I've heard that you have very little to hide yourself.
I just have a lot to show.
Please don't.
Oh, no, I'm tempted, but I won't. All right. Well, So how do we get into the wedding? Will we be granted access just by showing our invitations?
Oh, I'm sorry. Should have known I was not talking to people who knew how invitations worked.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
No need for that.
I'm sorry, I do spend a lot of time not talking to people. It's not my forte. I'm better at watching them.
You like people watching?
It is my job. Like is a strong word. But yes, you walk up to the front gate on the day of the wedding, just like any other guest, present your invitations, and the guards will admit you. And then you will be let into the courtyard, allowed to mingle, enjoy the banquets, and then afterwards the ceremony will begin. And that is when you strike. Don't worry, you will not be alone. The Tongas have been asked to provide guards for the occasion. You can imagine how my mistress is dealing with that. What is required of you is to use the scrolls upon Henry. There are 3 of them just in case, because I know that he may break out of 1, maybe 2, but not 3. You hold him, you back us up, and we end his rule.
Great plan. I love it. I love it for sure. And what if it doesn't work? What if we can't imprison him? What then do we do?
Then we will go about the day as normal. And I believe my mistress has probably got a plan B, C, D, E, and F. She is one of those.
Okay.
Those types are always useful.
Yes, I guarantee that she had about 7 different plans of dealing with you outside the mines. Myself
Well, I'm
and
glad.
some of my companions hidden in the shadows, for one thing.
Oh, what? I was hidden too. Were you hidden near me?
We were hidden in different ways.
Oh, I know, but I mean, like, I thought that I was hiding pretty good there, but your mistress, she seemed to know exactly where I was. So I was just wondering if you were maybe like behind me, like with like a dagger to my back, like ready to go. Like, was I your main priority?
No.
Who was?
Do you really want me to answer that?
I do.
Yes.
He was. And she nods to Solas.
Typical. Typical, always underestimating the bard.
And I can only speak for myself. I will not tell you what my companions were told to do.
So, would you consider yourself the most versatile and useful associate of Lady Tungar?
I am very versatile.
Yeah, I'm just saying, are there cooler people than you on this case?
She kind of she furrows her brow a little bit. These are not exactly the questions I was anticipating answering.
Oh, okay. Well, ask me the question that you would like me to ask you.
Do you know what it is that you are all doing on the day?
I know that I am going to be looking fabulous, and I am going to be a member of the wedding, and I am going to hobnob and eat tiny sandwiches with the gentry, the fine folk, And Sunny will also be there, as will the rest of my compatriots. And perhaps, if we are lucky, Solas will grace us with a creme brulee.
What?
A what?
A what? A burning dessert of sorts.
Sounds
never heard of that.
delicious.
I don't know.
Is that in character or out of character? Because
Is there any difference at this point?
I mean, IRL creme brulee is dope.
I that was my favourite dessert when I was younger.
Mm.
Not sure eating something that's on fire is too great.
It's not on
Well, it's not
fire.
really on
It's
fire.
just been like singed a little bit.
I know.
Yeah,
I
it's
know
warm
that.
custard
Solas
covered in
doesn't.
sugar that you
Okay.
then burn.
I'm with
I
you.
know that. Solas doesn't.
Right.
So, I'm trying to figure out. So, honestly, both me and Sunny are drawing it. Okay, so we'll be in the wedding, and he'll be in the wedding, and then we need to attack him with the scrolls, and then attack him normally, and then a bunch of people who are meant to be at the wedding to help them will help us deal with them with the attacking.
Yes, essentially. You are the pebble that sets it off.
Interesting. Well,
Sunny does not know the pebble spell.
I am glad that some of you have followed along.
I'm sure I'll be able to go through it with them on the day.
Yes. I believe that my companion Gretch will be another one of the guests. You will know them by smell.
I see.
They are they are one of those that have made a pact with another being, and it seems that a side effect of that is that she always smells a bit like brimstone.
So that as she says that, Solas kind of smiles just instinctually. Oh, really? Interesting.
Goblin, brimstone, can't miss her.
Very well.
Mookie.
Anything else?
Have you seen a strange orc grandma in your travels?
She fixes you with a haunted, shocked gaze.
That's a yes.
What do you know of that creature? Like,
More
Not to
than
let
I'd
us
like
cook in the
to.
kitchen, she does it naked.
the change is immediate.
Don't let her cook in the kitchen, she does it naked for some reason.
Yes, I have seen that. It appears that she's quite comfortable now.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, I think I need some more wine. I thought I had repressed her from my memory.
What did you see? What did she do?
I saw everything.
She's very open about her activities.
Well, at least you only know half of the bad things she's done.
I know that
hope-
she is also the one setting up the Dolores Academy. Sorry, I believe they called it the Accademia dell'Arcane.
Wait.
That.
We're setting up an academy where?
Here in Naglemund, they called it Dolores after the land. But they also called it the Accademia dell'Arcane. To be fancy, it would seem. That is what Vola does most of her days.
Right,
Oh,
note to
that's-
self, don't go that direction.
Well,
Yeah, where are they setting it up?
There is a tower inside of the Dagmar Manor. They have appropriated that.
Well,
Stay
as
away
long
from
as
the
she's-
tower. Screams come from it at night.
Oh my god.
I'll bet.
I was about to say, well, as long as she's not skinning people for a spell book, but I feel like she is now. Okay.
the weird thing is the paper is freely available to her, and yet she still insists on the skinning.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She
yeah,
really
that's no
has
good old
her
grandma.
way.
Yeah.
Yes, I definitely would like a drink now, so unless there's anything else.
Oh, let us buy you a drink. You want to come to the Broken Mass? They've got pretty good grog.
Grog?
Sunny can make it honey.
I do like honey.
Ooh, okay, all right.
Honey, it is.
I'm gonna hook my arm in Isolde's. Follow me.
Alright. Very well. And you lead her into the tavern?
Mhm.
Alright.
Sunny gets to make honey again.
Sunny honey. I am absolutely starving. I haven't really eaten much yet today. I think I might leave the session there because I really want to go eat something.
That's fine.
Oh, no.
That's fair.
Fair enough.